The influencer who vanished during a livestream. Chapter 1, The Beginning. Ethan Miller's final livestream began at 11:47 p.m. on March 17, 2018. That night in coastal Florida. The air was humid. You know that kind of humidity, where you feel your lungs filling up when you breathe. Ethan wore a gray hoodie over a black t-shirt. His hair was messy. It was obvious he hadn't been sleeping regularly for the past few weeks. There were dark circles under his eyes, but that familiar Ethan smile remained on his face. "Hey guys, what's up?" he said to the camera. He was holding his phone. Behind him was an old motel sign. Only the metal frame was visible in the darkness, since the neon lights were off. "Tonight, we're doing something different." The viewer count was rising fast. 1,200, 2,400, 5,800. Ethan's channel wasn't huge. He had about 180,000 subscribers on YouTube. A mid-tier known enough, but not famous. Making enough money, but not rich. One of those people. He was young, 24 years old. Had moved from Arizona to Florida, trying to make content. He filmed abandoned places, urban exploration. That kind of stuff. "So this place behind me," he continued, turning the camera around, "used to be the Pelican Bay Motel. Closed since 2009. The motel really did look abandoned. A 2-story building. The exterior paint was peeling. Windows boarded up. Trash accumulated in the parking lot. But Ethan had somehow gotten inside. He didn't say how. Just said, found a way in. Chat was getting active. 'Get out before cops see you, bro. This is gonna be lit. Hope it's not fake. Where's the coordinates?' Ethan answered the chat as he walked inside. 'No guys, this is 100% real. I'm not gonna say where exactly. Don't want cops showing up.' When he entered the motel lobby, the first thing we saw was an old reception desk. A 2009 calendar sat on top. Stuck on October. Dust had piled on the calendar. Ethan touched the dust with his finger, showed it to the camera. "Look at this. Nobody's been here for years." But something else caught my attention. A sign hanging on the wall behind the desk. "Checkout time, 11 a.m. sharp." Someone had added something below in red marker, "Or you never leave." Ethan didn't see it, or ignored it. He quickly turned the camera, walked toward the hallway. "I'm gonna find the creepiest room and spend the night there. Full live stream, no cuts. You guys are gonna watch everything." Viewer count, 18,000. Chapter 2, Room 12. The hallway was very narrow. The walls were painted a greenish color, that typical 90s motel shade. The carpet used to be red probably, now turned rust, mold in some places. Ethan walked forward holding his phone. The camera light was the only source of light. Room 1. Room 2. He counted as he passed. "You guys want me to pick a specific room?" Chat exploded. "Pick 13 bro, go to the last one, 12, room 12. All right, Ethan said laughing. Room 12 it is. Room 12 was right in the middle of the hallway. The door was painted brown, paint peeling off in flakes. Ethan tried the doorknob. It was locked. He said. He leaned his shoulder against the door, tried pushing it open. On the third push, the door creaked open. Inside actually looked normal. Abandoned but normal. A single bed, a nightstand beside it, a TV unit across, a small bathroom door on the right. Window curtains were closed. Ethan walked in, closed the door behind him. "Okay guys, welcome to my crib for tonight." He sat on the bed, propped his phone on the TV unit across from the bed, so the camera was filming both him and most of the room. "So here's the plan. I'm gonna stay here until sunrise. Read your comments. Maybe explore a bit. We'll see what happens." Viewer count, 34,000. The room was quiet. Even though the motel was closed, strangely there was electricity. The ceiling light worked. Ethan explained this. "I think there's a generator somewhere. Some of these abandoned places still have power for some reason. The first half hour was normal. Ethan was talking to chat, told a few scary stories, talked about his previous shoots, thanked his subscribers. Then he stood up. Let me check the bathroom real quick. He opened the bathroom door. Inside was completely dark. He held up the phone light. The bathroom was small. Sink, toilet, old shower curtain, yellowish stains on the curtain. Ethan pulled the curtain aside. The tub was empty, but there was something at the bottom of the tub. A red hair clip. Ethan picked it up, showed it to the camera. Someone's hair clip. Probably from before the place closed. Chat thought differently. Bro, that looks new, no dust on it, red flag. Run. Ethan left the clip on the edge of the sink. As he was leaving the bathroom, he noticed something on the mirror, like written in steam. There was something faint. The words weren't readable, but someone had written something on that mirror. Recently, weird, Ethan said. He touched the mirror with his hand. It was cold. He breathed on it. The mirror fogged up slightly. Letters appeared through the fog. Help. Ethan stepped back. Okay, that's probably an old prank or something. But his voice was shaking. Chat went crazy. Get out now, fake, call the cops. This can't be real. Ethan left the bathroom, paused without closing the door, then closed it. Returned to the bed. Guys, relax. Old buildings do weird things. Timidity, temperature changes. You know, but his face was pale. Viewer count, 67,000. It was 12:14 a.m. Chapter 3. First anomaly. About 20 minutes passed without incident. Ethan was reading chat from his phone, answering a few questions, like a normal live stream. But then, a sound was heard inside the room. Click. Very brief, sharp, metallic sound. Ethan froze. Did you guys hear that? Chat exploded. Yes, WTF was that? Came from the bathroom door handle. Ethan stood up, walked to the bathroom. The door was closed. He opened it. Inside was empty. But the red hair clip he'd left on the edge of the sink wasn't there. It was in the tub. Ethan stared for a few seconds. I didn't move that. He picked up the clip, put it back on the sink, left the bathroom. This time left the door wide open. When he returned to the bed, he rubbed his hands together. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was weird. Right then, someone in chat sent a message. Super chat $50 donation. Username ROOM_12 message. Don't open the curtain. Ethan read the message, paused. Which curtain? No response came. Ethan looked at the window. Thick brown curtains were closed. You mean the window? Chat was divided. Open it. Let's see. Don't open it. Fake account. He paid $50 at least. Open it. Ethan laughed, but it was a tense laugh. All right, fine. Let's see what's outside. He walked to the window. Grabbed the edge of the curtain, pulled it. Outside, there was nothing, just darkness. The empty part of the parking lot was visible. Road lights in the distance. Palm trees, further away. Normal, double quotes, see. Nothing. But as he was closing the curtain again, he noticed something. On the glass, from outside, there was a wet handprint. 5 fingers. Like someone's palm had pressed against the glass. Ethan just stood there. Guys, there's a handprint. From outside. Chat, WTF, FFF, aren't you on second floor? No bro, ground floor. Show the camera. Ethan lifted his phone, brought it close to the glass. The handprint was clearly visible, but there was something else. Right next to the handprint, like scratched into the glass, was a small number, 12. Ethan stepped back from the window. I think someone's messing with me. He walked to the door, checked the lock. It was locked. Doors locked. Nobody came in, but he wasn't comfortable. Viewer count, 92,000. Chapter 4. The door handle-a-thon sat on the bed. Took a deep breath. Okay, let me think. Either someone's outside pranking me, or I don't know. Chat was telling him to leave, but Ethan resisted. No way. I'm not leaving. This is exactly why we're here. For this kind of stuff. Right then his phone vibrated. A notification came. Instagram DM. Ethan opened his phone. The DM was from an account Colin at guest_room12 message. You should have closed the bathroom door. Ethan paused. Who is this? He typed. The response came immediately. Look behind you. Ethan turned around. The bathroom door was still open, but this time, the shower curtain was closed. He had left it open. Ethan slowly stood up. Guys? The shower curtain. I left it open. Chat. Run, get out, call 911, this has to be fake. Ethan walked toward the bathroom. Held his phone forward. The camera was shaking. The shower curtain was completely closed. He reached out, pulled the curtain. Inside was empty, but at the bottom of the tub was a small puddle of water. Fresh. Ethan bent down. Smelled the water. It smelled of chlorine. Like pool water. This is fresh water. Right then, the door handle of the room door slowly went down. The camera was filming clearly. The door was locked. It didn't open, but the handle went down, then slowly returned to position. Ethan bolted from the bathroom. Ran to the door. Who's there? He shouted. No response. Silence behind the door. Ethan unlocked it. Quickly opened the door. The hallway was empty. Completely empty. But there were wet footprints on the floor. Bare footprints. One direction, coming from the end of the hallway. Stopping at room 12's door. But there was no wetness inside. Ethan stepped back. Closed the door. Locked it. Sat on the bed. His hands were shaking. I don't know what's happening. Viewer count. 121,000. Chat was writing only one thing. Leave, but Ethan put his phone in his pocket. Took a deep breath. No, I'm staying. This is probably someone trying to scare me. Some local kids or something. There was no conviction in his voice. It was 12:47 a.m. Chapter 5. The audio recording. Ethan sat there for a while. Chat sometimes telling him to leave, sometimes yelling fake, sometimes just watching. But everyone was aware of one thing. This wasn't normal. Ethan finally spoke. Guys, I'm gonna check the rest of the room. Maybe there's a logical explanation. He stood up. First checked the closet. It was a small closet with a few old hangers inside. Empty. Then he looked under the bed. Held his phone to the floor. Shined the light under the bed. Dust, an empty beer can, and a piece of red fabric. Ethan reached out, pulled the fabric. It was a piece of a t-shirt. Women's t-shirt. Small size. On it was a faded but barely visible motel logo. Pelican Bay Motel, it said. But below the logo was small text. EST 2016. Ethan looked up. Wait, this place closed in 2009. Why does this say 2016? Chad immediately caught this. Bro, that's wrong. Motel closed in 2009. It wasn't open in 2016. Then where did this come from? Ethan put the shirt on the bed. Took his phone, typed in Google. Pelican Bay Motel, Florida 2016. A few results came up. Old news archives. Ethan clicked on one dot. The headline read, Local woman missing after last seen near closed. Motel minus 2017. Ethan started reading the article. Out loud. Jessica Cortez, 23, was last seen on March 18, 2017. Near the old Pelican Bay Motel in Eastop. Today was March 17, 2018. Almost exactly 1 year later. One day before. Ethan lowered his phone. Guys. This is too specific. This has to be a setup. But his voice wasn't convincing. Right then, something was heard in the livestream's audio. Recording. Very faint. A whisper. The words weren't clear, but someone was speaking. Ethan didn't hear it, but chat heard it. Someone spoke. Did you hear the voice? Someone replay it. It whispered something a few people had recorded that moment. Slowed it down. Increased the audio level. The whisper said, you should have stayed. But Ethan didn't know this. Before chat could tell him, something else happened. A sound came from the bathroom. Direction splash water sound. Like something had fallen into the tub. Ethan froze. Okay, that's it. I'm checking. He walked to the bathroom. The door was still open. He looked inside. The shower curtain was open again, and at the bottom of the tub, there was something new. A wet photograph, Polaroid. Ethan picked it up. The photo was wrinkled, edges torn, but the image was clear. It was a woman, young, in her 20s, dark hair. She was smiling. On the back of the photo was handwriting. Jessica, room 12, March 17th. Ethan dropped the photo. No way. This is fake. Someone planted this. But his voice was scared. Viewer count: 156,000. Chapter 6. The lights. Ethan left the bathroom. He wasn't laughing anymore. Wasn't trying to be cool anymore. I think I should call someone. He took out his phone. Was about to call 911. Right then, the lights went out. The entire room went dark. The camera didn't go dark because it was connected to a power, but the room's ceiling light, the hallway lights, everything went off. Only the phone's LED light remained. Ethan froze. Fuck. He held his phone forward. The light illuminated the hallway. The door was still closed. Then he looked at the window. Outside was dark too. The distant road lights had also gone out. Generator died, he said. Or someone turned it off. Chat. Get out, run bro, call the cops. Ethan walked to the door. Unlocked it. Opened the door. The hallway was completely dark. The phone's light only provided a few meters of visibility. Ethan slowly stepped outside. I'm gonna find the exit. As he walked down the hallway, the camera was shaking. His breathing was audible. He was counting doors. Room 11. Room 10. Room 9. Then he stopped. At the end of the hallway, there was something. A shadow. Human form. Ethan froze. Hello. He called out. The shadow didn't move. Ethan raised his phone. Shined the light on the shadow. The shadow disappeared. It wasn't there. Empty hallway. Ethan swallowed. I'm seeing things. That's it. He continued. Reached the lobby. The reception desk was still there. But this time, the 2009 calendar wasn't on the desk. On the desk was a new note dosed. -it yellow. With pen writing, go back to your room. Ethan picked up the note. Turned it over. On the back was another message. It's too late now. Ethan dropped the note. Ran to the front door. The door was locked. From outside. No note, he shouted. Tried pushing the door. Hit it with his shoulder. It didn't open. Chat was insane. Window, get out through the glass. Didn't you call 911? Ethan turned back. Looked at the lobby window. There was a large window. He ran to it. Threw his phone. Tried to break the glass. The glass didn't even crack. Fuck. He shouted. Tried again. Same thing. The glass was solid. Right then, a sound came from behind him. Footsteps, slow, wet. Ethan turned around. Someone was walking in the hallway, coming from the darkness. Ethan held his phone. Shined the light that direction. The light hit a face. It was a woman. Wet hair. Pale face. Empty eyes. She wore a red t-shirt. Pelican Bay logo. Ethan screamed. Stepped back. Tried to run. But his legs gave out. He fell. The phone slipped from his hand. Fell to the floor. The camera was now turned sideways, showing Ethan in behind him. The woman was walking, slowly. Where are you going? The woman said. Her voice was normal, very normal. Like she was asking an acquaintance. Ethan crawled forward, grabbed his phone, got up, ran to the hallway. The camera was shaking. Chapter 7. Return to room 12. Ethan was running, but didn't know where he was going. The hallway seemed to have stretched. Room 9. Room 10. Room 11. Footsteps were coming from behind. Slow, not running. Just walking, but getting closer. Ethan reached room 12's door. The door was open. He dove inside. Slammed the door shut. locked it, pressed his back against the door. He was out of breath. Chat. Dude, is this real? Can't be fake. Where are the cops? Didn't someone call 911? Ethan propped his phone on the floor, held his face. I can't. The footsteps stopped behind the door. Silence, then clicked. The door handle slowly went down. The camera was filming. Ethan froze. The door didn't open. It was locked. But the handle went down. Someone was turning it. Then, knocking sound. Knock. Knock. 3 slow knocks. Then a voice. Ethan, the woman's voice, opened the door. Ethan was trembling. Who are you? You know who I am. Silence. He asked the same question. Ethan started crying. I don't understand. The woman spoke again. You didn't choose room 12. It chose you. The door handle moved again. Ethan dragged himself toward the bed. Crouched by the closet. Please, just leave me alone. The woman didn't respond. The footsteps faded away. The hallway was silent again. Ethan stayed like that for a few minutes. Then picked up his phone. Guys, I need to find another way out. He looked at the window. Outside was still dark. Then, he noticed something. The closet. The closet door was slightly ajar. Hadn't Ethan checked it before? It was empty. Just hangers. But now, the inside of the closet looked deeper, like there was a back to it. Ethan slowly approached. Opened the closet door. Inside was dark, but there was a hole in the back. In the wall. Big enough for a person to pass through. Ethan held his phone. Shined the light into the hole. The hole opened to a narrow corridor. Like a service corridor. What the hell? Chat. Don't go in there, it's a trap. Maybe there's no other exit, bro. You might get out that way. Ethan hesitated. Then looked behind him. At the room door, a shadow passed under the door. Someone was waiting outside. Ethan entered the closet. Crawled toward the hole. Passed into the narrow corridor. Inside was cold. Concrete, low ceiling. Ethan proceeded while crouching, holding his phone in front. The corridor was long. Turning left and right, there were doors in some places. Small doors. Service doors. Ethan stopped by one. A number on the door. 8. He opened the door. He was looking into room 8. From inside the closet. The room was empty. Ethan understood. This corridor connected to all the rooms. Jesus Christ, he whispered. He continued. The corridor reached another junction. The left path was even darker. The right path led to stairs. Ethan chose the stairs. Started going down. But as he descended, he heard something. Footsteps coming from above. Someone was walking in the corridor, fast, behind Ethan started running. As he went down the stairs, the corridor got narrower. Finally he reached a door. Metal door. Writing on it, basement authorized only. Ethan opened the door. Inside was pitch black, and there was a smell. Mold, decay and something else. Ethan went inside. Left the door open. Viewer count, 189,000 chapter 8. The basement. Ethan was holding his phone with trembling hands. The light stretched forward, but there was only a few meters of visibility. The basement was a real basement. Ceiling pipes, old fans, rusted metal boxes, water puddles on the floor. Ethan slowly proceeded. I'm in the basement, he whispered to the camera. There has to be an exit down here. Chat was still writing to him, but the messages were chaotic now. Did you call 911? Why are you still streaming? This can't be fake. Does anyone know his address? Ethan scrolled his phone a bit, looked at chat. I can't call. No signal down here. It was true. The signal bars at the top of the screen were 0. But the live stream was still active. Why? Was the basement picking up Wi-Fi signal? Or was there another connection? Ethan continued. On the right side of the basement were old metal shelves. Boxes on them, rusted tools, a few old folders. Ethan approached the shelves. Took one of the folders, opened it. Inside were papers. Old bills. Motel bills. Date, 2016. Ethan frowned. This place was closed in 2009. Why are there bills from 2016? He took another folder. This one was thicker. When he opened it, photos spilled out. Polaroids. Ethan picked one up. It was a woman, young, hands tied, eyes open but empty. Ethan dropped the photo. Oh my God. He looked at the other photos. They were all the same. Different women, all young, all in the same room. Same wall in the background. Green wall, room 12's wall. Ethan stumbled backward. Dropped the folder. Chat was now completely silent. Everyone was staring at the screen, waiting to see what would happen. Ethan took deep breaths. I need to get out. Now. He walked to the other end of the basement. There was a door there. An exit sign above it. But dim. The red light wasn't on. He reached the door. Turned the handle. It was locked. No. He tried pushing the door open. Hit it with his shoulder. It didn't open. Just as he turned around, someone was standing at the top of the stairs. The woman. The same woman. Her wet hair stuck to her face. The red t-shirt was dripping water. Her eyes. Still empty. Ethan froze. The woman didn't speak. Just stared. Then slowly started descending the stairs. Ethan backed away. Ran to the other corner of the basement. Went behind the shelves. Hid. He pressed his phone against his chest. Turned off the light. Darkness. Only the woman's footsteps could be heard. Splash. 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 Wet shoes on concrete floor. Then they stopped. Silence. Ethan held his breath. Minutes passed. Then the woman's voice. Ethan. It was very close. Why are you hiding? Ethan was trembling. He hid too. But I found him. The footsteps started again. Getting closer. Ethan slowly raised his head. Looked at the shelf. The woman was there, right in front of him. Her eyes met Ethan's. Found you, she said. Ethan screamed. Jumped up, ran, but the woman didn't chase him. She walked slowly. Ethan reached the stairs. Started going up. Returned to the corridor. He didn't know which direction to go. He ran randomly. He came across a door. Opened it. He was inside room 6. Had come out through the closet. The room had the same layout. Bed, nightstand, bathroom. But in this room, someone was there. On the bed, a body lying on its back. Ethan froze. He held his phone. Shined the light on the bed. The body was a woman. Old clothes, faded hair, spread out. Her face. Ethan approached. The face was Jessica Cortez, the missing woman, but she was dead. Had been there for who knows how long. Ethan stepped back, ran to the door, went out to the hallway, and at that moment, all the doors opened. At the same time, room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, room 5, room 6, room 7, room 8, room 9, room 10, room 11, all of them, and from each, a shadow emerged. Women. All wet, all walking slowly toward Ethan. Ethan ran toward the lobby, reached the front door. Still locked. He turned around. The women were approaching. They all spoke at once. Room 12. Ethan was desperate. There was no other option. He ran to room 12, opened the door, went inside, closed the door. Viewer count, 208,000. Chapter 9. The final truth. Ethan pressed his back against the door. He couldn't breathe. His eyes were filled with tears. I'm gonna die here, he whispered. But then, he noticed something. The room was quiet. No sound was coming from behind the door. The women hadn't followed him. Ethan slowly turned and looked through. The door, window, the hallway was empty. Nothing. He looked at the room. Everything was the same. Bed, nightstand, TV, unit, bathroom. But now, the TV was on. Black and white static. Ethan approached the TV. The static slowly started changing. An image formed. A room. Room 12, and someone was in the room. Ethan. He was watching himself, but the image wasn't real. It was a recording. Ethan watched himself on the screen, sitting on the bed, then going to the bathroom. Then, on screen, Ethan opened the curtain. But this time, someone was outside. A woman. She was leaning against the window, had pressed her hand on the glass. The real Ethan hadn't seen this, but the camera had. Ethan looked closer at the TV. The recording continued. Ethan opened the door, looked into the hallway, but in the footage, the hallway was full of people. All standing, watching Ethan. The real Ethan hadn't seen this, but the camera had. The TV turned off. Ethan stepped back, then his phone, VIBRATED, notification, Instagram, DM. At guest_room 12 message : even if you close the stream, it doesn't matter anymore. We already have the recording. Ethan dropped his phone. No. He ran to the door, opened it. The hallway was normal. The lights had come back on. He ran to the lobby. The front door was open. Finally, Ethan burst outside, ran out to the parking lot, breathed in the night air, ran to his car, opened the door, jumped inside, started the engine, drove away from the motel. But he noticed something. He looked at his phone screen. The live stream was still on, and chat was still writing, but something had changed. Viewer count 0.0. But chat was active. Messages were coming. Where are you going? Come back. Room 12 is waiting for you. All from the same user. At guest_room 12. Ethan closed the live stream, threw his phone on the floor. He drove the car, got on the highway, headed toward the city. Chapter 10. 3 months later, Ethan Miller disappeared. Officially, he was never seen after that night. His car was found 11 days later near Orlando at a gas station. Abandoned. Engine running. Doors locked. In the back seat of the car was the remaining piece of the red t-shirt with the motel logo in the glove compartment. A note: you read the chat too late. The FBI launched an investigation. They examined Ethan's last live stream. The recordings were there. The entire video had been recorded. But something was strange. The recording didn't show Ethan leaving the room. The last image was Ethan sitting in room 12, looking at the television. Then a cut. The next frame, empty room, as if Ethan had never left. The FBI went to Pelican Bay Motel. The motel was really closed since 2009, but the documents in the basement were real. The folders, the photos. Jessica Cortez's body was found in room 6. She had died 3 years ago. Autopsy report: dehydration, locked in the room, couldn't get out. But the strangest detail was this: the motel's service corridors were never indicated on any construction plans. Those corridors weren't part of the original design. Someone had added them later. Who and why? The FBI reopened missing women files from 2016 to 2018.4. More women missing. All last seen in that area. None found. Ethan's last live stream is still on YouTube. The video has been watched 2.3 million times. People still debate in the comments, real, fake. But one user wrote, if you watch the video carefully, at 0:23 there's a detail. When Ethan opens the door and looks into the hallway, in the background on the right, you can see a shadow. But Ethan doesn't notice it. The shadow is human-shaped, and it's mimicking Ethan's movements. When you slow down and look at the video, it really is. Chapter 11. What remains? S family never found him. His mother Linda holds a press conference every year on March 17th with missing person news. But hope is fading. Ethan's YouTube channel is still active. His videos are still there. His last video is the most watched. But sometimes, strange things happen on the channel. For instance, last year in March, the channel suddenly went live. It lasted 10 minutes. The stream just showed an empty room, room 12, no sound, no movement. Just the empty room. 50,000 people watched, then the stream closed on its own. This year, in February, someone posted an Instagram story with the username @EthanMiller. The story was just one photo. The exterior of Pelican Bay Motel. Taken at night. A light was on in an upper floor window. Room 12. The story was deleted after 30 seconds, but thousands of people took screenshots. Last month, a Reddit user wrote, "Last week I did a road trip in Florida. Saw an old motel on the road. Pelican Bay Motel. It was closed, of course. But there was a car in the parking lot. Old Honda, looked like Ethan's car. I tried to take a photo, but my phone froze. I quickly left." The post got 12,000 upvotes. Someone in the comments added, "I passed by there too. In 2019, I thought the motel had been demolished, but it's still standing. And I noticed something. The sign in front of the motel was renewed. It said vacancy." Chapter 12 Conspiracy Theories. Online communities developed dozens of theories about Ethan's story. Theory 1. Human trafficking network. It's certain the motel was used for illegal operations. The FBI confirmed this. But who was the network? Are they still active? Did Ethan enter the wrong place at the wrong time? A detective forum wrote, someone was watching Ethan's stream, and that someone was inside the motel. Real time. This can't be a coincidence. Ethan was targeted. Theory 2. Paranormal trap. Some believe the motel itself is alive. The spirits of the missing women are there. Ethan disturbed them and paid the price. A medium said in a YouTube video, the women Ethan saw in his final moments weren't spirits. They were echoes, memories locked in a time loop. And Ethan became part of that loop. Theory 3. ARG alternate reality game. A small group believes the whole thing was an ARG prepared by Ethan. Fake, planned, and still ongoing. But this theory has one problem. Jessica Cortez's body was real. The FBI confirmed it. Chapter 13. Other stories after Ethan. Other people tried to go to that motel. Most were turned away by police. The area was cordoned off, but one person managed to get inside. Alex Torres, 19 years old, urban explorer, had a YouTube channel. In July 2019, he entered the motel, started a live stream. 40 minutes later, the stream cut off. Alex was never found. Ever. His car was found in the motel parking lot. But Alex himself, missing. Another one, Sarah Kim, TikTok influencer, went to the motel in 2020. Going to follow Ethan's trail, she said in her video, went inside, filmed, stayed inside for 20 minutes. Then came out. But Sarah didn't speak after coming out. Ever. According to her family, she went through trauma. Started therapy. Sarah said, only one sentence to doctors. Time doesn't move in that room. Chapter 14. The Secret of Room 12. The FBI report is 127 pages. Most of it is redacted, but one of the leaked sections says, Room 12 wasn't in the original design of the motel. It was added later in 1987. Added by Robert Finch, the second owner of the motel. Finch committed suicide in 1994. His note, I couldn't save them. There's no other information about Robert Finch, but a 1988 news article was found in a local newspaper archive. Motel owner gives statement, I can't control the rooms. The article is brief. Pelican Bay Motel owner Robert Finch claimed in police statement that abnormal events were occurring in certain rooms of the motel. No details given. Chapter 15. Documentary filming in 2022. A documentary crew decided to film Ethan's story. Director David Marsh. Small crew. 4 people. Cameraman, sound technician, director, producer. They got permission to go to the motel. Coordinated with the FBI. Filming lasted 3 days. First day was normal. Exterior shots of the motel. Interviews. Second day, they entered room 12. Cameraman Mike described it. There was a strange energy in the room. The air was heavy. Breathing was difficult. But there was no physical problem. We just felt it. Third day, they decided to do night filming. They were going to recreate Ethan's stream. At 11:45 p.m., they entered room 12, set up the camera. David sat in the room where Ethan had sat. Rolling mic said. David started speaking to the camera like Ethan had. Tonight, we're here to understand what happened to Ethan. Right then, sound technician Sarah screamed, "Something touched me." Everyone turned. Sarah was pressing her hand to her shoulder. Someone grabbed my shoulder. But there were only 4 people in the room, all in front of the camera. David immediately made the decision. We're leaving now. The crew left the room, but Mike forgot to take the camera. The camera was still running. The next day they returned. The camera was still there. Recording was active. Mike rewound the recording. After the crew left, the camera continued filming the empty room. For 5 minutes nothing happened. Then, the bathroom door slowly opened. No wind, no vibration. The door opened, then closed, then opened again, then closed, 10 times, like someone was going in and out. Mike continued the recording. 20 minutes later, a shadow appeared on the bed, human form, in a sitting position on the bed. The shadow remained for 30 seconds, then slowly turned its head toward the camera and looked at the camera. The recording ended there. The documentary was never released. Chapter 16. The message. In March 2023. On the 5th anniversary of Ethan's disappearance, something strange happened. Ethan's Instagram account posted a story. The account had been inactive for 5 years. The story was just a black screen and white text. "I'm still here." The story was deleted 10 seconds later. Instagram officials were asked the IP address that logged into the account, Pelican Bay Motel area, but the motel had been demolished by then. In 2021, the municipality had the motel demolished. A small park was built in its place, but locals say nobody goes to the park, especially at night, because sounds come from there. Screams, women's screams. A witness: "Last month I passed by there late at night. In the middle of the park, someone was standing, motionless. At 2 a.m. I didn't approach, but I swear, that person looked like Ethan." Chapter 17. Case closed. The FBI officially closed the file in 2024. Conclusion: Ethan Miller's fate is uncertain. Evidence insufficient. Case unsolved, but the file contains this note: similar disappearances continue in the motel area. Precautions recommended. So what was the truth? What happened to Ethan? Will we ever know? Maybe, maybe not. But one thing is certain. If one day you see the remains of an old motel in Florida, and room 12 is still standing, don't go inside, because some doors, when opened, never close again. Epilogue: the final recording in January 2025. A video not in the file leaked onto the internet. Found on the dark web. Title: Ethan_final_recording.mp4. The video is 2 minutes 17 seconds, low quality, pixelated, but Ethan's voice can be heard. If anyone finds this, don't come looking for me. I'm not where you think I am. I'm not anywhere. Room 12 isn't a place. It's a loop. Time doesn't move here. I've been here for, I don't know, days, weeks. It feels like years. But my phone says it's still March 17th. Still 11:47 p.m. I've tried to leave. I've walked out of the room dozens of times. But I always end up back here. The hallway changes. The people change. But room 12 is always the same. Always waiting. I see her sometimes. Jessica. The others too. They don't talk anymore. They just watch. I think I'm becoming like them. I think the video cuts. Final frame: Ethan's face, but his eyes, empty. Just like those women's eyes.